Now, one of the things I've always loved doing in Photoshop is creating lighting effects. So in this video, I want to show you how I create this lighting effect here, including all those little bits that are kind of floating around in the air. But I also want to show you how you can make all those little bits floating around in the air. But before we get to that, this. Now, if you love photography, love taking photographs and enjoy editing your images, then why not join us in the free photography community on School? It's a safe space for like-minded people with an active forum of thousands of members from all over the world where you can connect, hang out, learn and share. There's also a classroom, a members map and a member events page for events happening all over the world. There's no algorithms, no ads, none of that social media rubbish, but it's exactly how social media should be. On screen there's a link and a QR code, or you can simply click the link in the description of this video and we'll see you there. Alright, so here's the final retouch picture with that lighting effect applied in the upper left-hand corner. And you can see here all these little bits of stuff kind of floating around in the air being lit by that light source. Now, if I just show you the picture before that lighting effect was added in, which is this one just here, what you're going to notice is that the model here, Christina, she has actually got highlights on this side of her head and across her shoulder and down here. And this is really important if you want this effect to kind of pass as being realistic. If there's a light source coming down on your subject, they need to have highlights in there. So you kind of need to think about this before you do it later. So that's what we've got here. And then, like I say, this is where the lighting effect has been applied. So let's get this image over into Photoshop and show you how we do it. So I'll just go to the File menu in Lightroom and then Edit in Photoshop. And that'll then send it over. We can see the progress bar in the top just here. Give it a second or two, and then that'll fly that over into Photoshop for us to work on, which it is done right now. And here we are in Photoshop. So first of all, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new blank layer like so. And then I'm going to get a brush, a normal round soft brush from over in the toolbar. Now you can see here, if I come to the options bar at the top here, I've got a normal round brush. The hardness is down at 0. And that's really, really important because when we're looking at this light source, you would have like the bulb, which would be the brightest part. And then as it comes off, that then's going to kind of feather off. So we can kind of replicate that by having a soft brush where the middle of it will be the dark or the brightest or most dense part of the brush, if you like, and then it'll soften out. It's kind of like a light source. So once we've got that, very, very simple to do. All I would need to do now, look, is just press down in the middle of my picture so I can move it around like so. Then what I'll do is I'll go to the edit menu and choose free transform. So then we get the transform handles around it. I'll zoom out, and on Mac I'm going to hold down the shift and option key. On Windows I'd hold down the shift and alt key, and I'll click and drag on any of the corner handles to grow that brush stroke there all in proportion like so. Nice and big. Press enter, then get the move tool, and I can just reposition it where I want, like so. So nice and simple. That is the light source, and we're going to add those bits in. But before we move on to that, I just want to show you why we wouldn't kind of create a big brush first of all. So again, I'll just delete that there. Then I'll add a new blank layer. I'll get my brush, and this time I will just increase the size of it. So I'll take it to the maximum size we can have a brush, which is 5,000 pixels. We've got a white foreground color, and I'll press down like so. So nice and big, and sure enough, I can move it around. But look, as I move it, what you're going to notice is because that feathered edge went to the outside of the image, it kind of cuts it off sharp, which obviously we don't want. And that's going to be on all the sides, top, bottom, left and right. And you can see it on this side here as well. So that's why we don't do that. Have it small and then enlarge it. So again, I'll just delete that layer. We'll add a new blank layer. Get that brush, a simple, round, soft brush, making sure when the options bar here, if we click on the brush settings here, there are no settings applied, so it doesn't behave in any kind of peculiar way, and a white foreground color that we can see here in the toolbar. I'll bring the size down so that we don't get this sides of it cut off from the image. I'll press down, then I'll get the free transform. I'll zoom out, and then we'll just drag those handles up like so. And then all we want from this is just that feathered edge. Just that feathered edge sticking into the picture, something like that. So you can see already we're kind of getting there. It's looking quite realistic. This light source here causing these highlights on Christina's head and down her shoulder. But we now can take it a step further by adding in all those those dust specks that you generally see when you've got a bright light source in a dark area. You kind of see them floating around in the air. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to open up an image that I've got here. So we'll go to File, and I'm actually going to go to Place Embedded, and I'll navigate to it. That's this particular file here. If I just click on the spacebar, you can see what it looks like. All these little bits and what have you just there. And then I'll click on Place. And then I'm going to stretch this out using free transform so it fills the entire image, something like that. Now, this image here, this particular one that kind of gives us this dust and kind of glowy kind of things within the atmosphere here. This one here, I'm going to show you how you can recreate this. And if you're in the photography community, I'll add that as a download when I share this video inside there as well. But this is what we're going to do. First of all, you can see there's a little bit of coloring in this. So I need to desaturate it completely. So we'll go to the image menu and we'll choose desaturate, image adjustments and desaturate. But you can see here, look, it's grayed out. And that's because this image here has been placed into it, so it's a smart object. So I need to make this layer a normal, regular layer within Photoshop. And I can do that by simply bringing my cursor over the layer just here and right-clicking. And in this menu that pops up here, we've got down the bottom, rasterize layer. Basically meaning make this layer a normal layer. So we'll click on rasterize layer, and you can see now, look, that little icon in the bottom corner, which was indicating this as being a smart object, has now gone. So now when I go to the image menu, choose adjustments, desaturate is now available to us just there. All right, so I only want the lightest parts of this particular layer here. So what I will do is I'll use a blend mode. So I'll come over to the layers panel. At the moment, this layer here is using the normal blend mode, which we can see just here. But I'm going to change this one here to screen. And that's going to basically get rid of the darker parts of that layer and only leave the lighter parts like so. Now, I could leave it in position like this, but I can move it around because I am going to mask some of this out. So I want to get quite a few of those these kind of dusty type of things bunched up into this left-hand corner here. So maybe there will work, something like that. And then all I need to do is just add a layer mask to this layer here, a white layer mask. Then I'll get a brush and I need to hide parts of it where I don't want it. I only want this to be visible kind of in this top left-hand area. So I'm going to use a black foreground color with this brush, nice and soft brush, and just paint away where I don't want it to be. So brushing it away off Christina. Just want it coming on like the back of her, something like that. I mean, even that just works like so. So there we can see it. Look, there you go. You've got that just there, those little bits within the air. Now, what you could also do with this to add a little bit of movement to it maybe is add a little bit of blur to it. Now, you could do that before you add the layer mask. Doesn't matter if you do it either way, to be honest with you. You've now got it in position where you want it. So what I'll now do is just go to the filter menu. We could convert for smart filters if we wanted to adjust it, but we're only going to add a small amount in here anyway. So I'll go to filter and then choose blur and motion blur. And if I just zoom in on this, look, here we go. So let's just turn that off just for a second. You can see this is what it's like without the motion blur. But if I just tick down on this preview area here, you can see it just adds a little bit of movement. And there's not much in here. The distance, just take it right down. But this angle here, you can change the kind of direction in which those are going. Look at, if you take a look at these ones just here, look at that little dot just there. And as I rotate it, you can see how it changes the kind of direction the actual blur is going in. I'm going to keep it so it's kind of going down from the top down, top left down to the bottom right. So I'll position the disc like this. So there's before and after, and then click OK. And then zoom out. So a really simple lighting effect. I used to call this the world's simplest lighting effect, but you can take it up a notch if you add in all those extra little bits as well. So let's have a quick look again before and after. So that's before and after, before and after. The lighting effect really works, but the clincher is that the actual subject has got highlights on the side of them from the direction of where that light would be hitting. So how do we make this particular kind of layer here that's got all those extra bits in it? Well, let me just open it up first of all. Let's go to File and Open. And I'll open the layer just here. And this is what we've got. A layer that contains all these kind of blurred, dust bits. I actually think, I've had this for a long time, this layer here. I actually think this is a photograph of rain at night with the camera pointed up and out of focus. And it's catching the raindrops as they're coming down. And this is the kind of look that it was giving. Perfect for adding in kind of like that dust effect. But I'm not going to give away this particular one. I want to show you how you can make your own. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to, let's go to my browser, and I'm going to use my AI large language model of choice. And I'm going to use Claude. It doesn't matter what you're using. You could use Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. It doesn't matter. But the first thing I'm going to do is just get it to tell me what that image is. How would it describe it? So I'm just going to go to the plus icon here and choose Add Files or Photos. And I'll navigate to where I've got that file, which is on my desktop, and I'll load it in. Now in here, what I'll do is I'm not going to type it. I tend to use a dictation bit of software. So this is what I'm going to put into here. Take a look at the attached file and write a prompt so that I could recreate this using Adobe Firefly. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'll then enter it to see what it's going to give me. So it's going to write a prompt now, hopefully, that would describe that layer perfectly so that I could recreate it in my own image model like Firefly, again, ChatGPT or Gemini. So this is what we've got: dark atmospheric bokeh background, deep navy and teal tones, falling rain or snow particles. Okay, let's have a look at this then. So what I'll now do is I'm going to copy that particular prompt that it's made, which is specifically for Firefly. Depending on what software or depending on what AI model you're using, you're going to want to make it do a prompt specific for that. But let's have a look here. I'll go to create a new tab, and I'm going to go to, let's have a look here. Go to firefly.adobe.com. All right, so now I'm in Firefly, and I'm going to go over to the create on the left-hand side, and I want to create an image. I'm going to use the Firefly model here, Firefly Image 5, and let's have a look in here. I'm going to click on more. There's more options available to me. So Firefly Image 5, aspect ratio. I'm going to create this as like maybe a 4:3. 2K resolution would be good. And I'll actually upload the original image. Let's just upload the original one so that it has a reference to say what it should look like as well. So click open. And then down here in the prompt area, I'll just paste in the prompt that Claude made for me describing what this particular image file is. And then we'll click on generate. So let's have a look at what this is going to give us. Once it's done this, we'll then use the same prompt, which I'll put on screen now, which you can copy and paste. And then we'll have a look at how Gemini would create it without the reference image so that you can go and create this yourself as well. But we'll just give this a few seconds, see what it comes up with. Oh, and there we go. Let's have a look at that. That's looking good. That is good. So we've got the nice big orbs here and these small bits as well. I might download that. That's the one that I'm going to make available to the folks in the photography community just there. But let's have a look now. Look, let's just take that particular prompt that Claude made to see what it will make for us. Let's have a look here. So I'll go to Gemini as an example. And in fact, what I will do here, go back into Claude and I'll say this. Now rewrite this prompt so that I could recreate this image using Nano Banana Pro in Google Gemini. So it will then write the prompt specific for how Nano Banana Pro likes things to be written. Here we go. So here's the prompt. So let's just copy and paste that. So, whoops, there we go. I'll copy that. So Command and C to copy it. Go into Google Gemini and let's just close that down. We'll go to Tools. We're going to say Create an Image and we'll paste it in. But at the end, I'm just going to put in 4:3 aspect ratio. And let's just see what it does. All right. Because obviously you're not going to have the reference image that I've had for a long time. You need to be able to create this from scratch. So let's have a look. Obviously, whatever it creates, you could regenerate it again and again until you get it exactly how you want. But this is definitely going to give you a starting point for those kind of little bits that will be floating around within the air when you've got that light source. So, oh yeah, look at that. There we go. Very cool. So you've got a nice one here. You might want to recreate it with these being a bit smaller, so you could actually put that into the prompt. But that kind of gives you an idea. But if you want the one that I've created, I think there's about 3 or 4 I've done, just jump into the photography community and download them from there. All right, so there you go. That's the world's simplest lighting effect, version 2. And that's all I've got for you. So I'll see you in the photography community. And if not, I'll see you in the next video.